The second the truck's headlights swallowed our car, I thought my life had ended. But the real nightmare didn't start until a week later, when the man behind the wheel finally spoke. My name is Emily Hartwell. I'm 27 years old, and on what should have been the happiest night of my life, everything was stolen from me. The reception had been a dream. Soft candlelight, the scent of roses, my mother crying happy tears into a napkin. My new husband, Daniel, kept squeezing my hand like he was afraid I'd disappear. You're stuck with me now, he whispered, and I laughed, actually laughed. For the first time in months. We'd been through so much just to get to that altar. Family drama, a postponed engagement, a last-minute venue change, but none of that mattered anymore. He was mine, I was his, forever. But here's the thing about forever, it can be stolen in less than a second. After the last dance, after the goodbyes and the rice toss, we climbed into our car. It was past midnight, the streets were empty, the city lights smeared across the windshield like watercolors. I rested my head on Daniel's shoulder, listening to his heartbeat. Can you believe we actually did it? I asked. He kissed my temple. I've believed it since the first time you yelled at me for stealing your coffee. I smiled and closed my eyes. Just for a moment, then the world exploded, a horn loud, wrong too close, drive flooding the windows. Daniel screamed my name, I felt the wheel jerk. Metal screamed against metal. Glass rained down like shrapnel. My body slammed sideways, then forward, then everything went black. When I woke up, I couldn't move. My ribs burned, my left leg was trapped in something heavy. The ceiling above me was white, too white, hospital white, beeping machines. The smell of antiseptic, and my mother's voice, cracked and wet, saying my name over and over. Where's Daniel? I tried to say, but my throat was raw. The words came out as a whisper, no one answered. My father stood by the window, his back to me. That's when I knew. A father who won't look at you is a father who can't tell you the truth. Mom, I said, louder this time. Where is my husband? She gripped my hand so hard her knuckles went white. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. Then she broke. A sob tore through her, and she collapsed onto the bed. He didn't make it, baby. He didn't make it. Have you ever felt the floor disappear beneath you while already lying down? That's what it felt like. Like someone had reached inside my chest and ripped out everything that mattered. Some losses don't just break you, they erase the person you were. Daniel was gone, our future, our children, our inside jokes, our fight about who would take out the trash, all of it erased. Because some drunk truck driver couldn't stay in his lane. Or so I thought. The first week was a fog of painkillers, pitying looks, and whispered condolences. My sister Chloe visited every day. She brought me ice chips and rubbed my back while I cried. You're going to get through this, she said. You're the strongest person I know. Her eyes were red, swollen. She looked almost as broken as I felt, almost. The police came on day 8. 2 detectives. A man and a woman, both wearing the same grim expression. We found the truck driver, the man said. He was hiding out 2 states over. My heart started pounding. What did he say? Why did he do it? The detectives exchanged a glance. That glance, I'd learned to hate that glance. It means they know something you don't, and they're not sure you can handle it. He's not talking yet, the woman said. But there's something off about this case. Off how? My father stepped forward, his voice sharp. The truck didn't swerve. The brakes were brand new. It's like he aimed for you. The room went cold. I felt Chloe's hand tighten on my shoulder. That's insane, she said. It was a dark road, he was probably drunk. He was sober, the male detective replied. Toxicology came back clean, silence. Heavy, suffocating silence. That night I couldn't sleep, I kept replaying the crash in my head, the horn, the lights. The way Daniel's hand had been in mine 1 second and gone the next. And the detective's words, it's like he aimed for you. Why would a stranger want me dead? I had no enemies. No debts, no secret life. I was just a graphic designer who loved baking shows and hiking on weekends. Unless it wasn't about me at all. What if the target wasn't the bride, but the groom? The next morning, the detectives called again. He's ready to talk, they said. But he's asking for you specifically. My father tried to stop me. You're still healing, let us go. I went anyway. I had to look into the eyes of the man who destroyed my world. The interrogation room was grey and cold. The driver sat at a metal table, his hands cuffed to a ring in the center. His face was bruised, not from the accident, but from something else. Someone had already gotten to him. He looked up when I came in. And that's when I noticed it. His eyes weren't empty, they were terrified, not of me, of whoever had put him up to this. Start talking, the detective said. The driver licked his lips. I wasn't supposed to hit the car. I was supposed to hit the driver's side, make sure he didn't survive. My blood turned to ice. Who's? I whispered. Daniel. He said the name like it burned his mouth. I was paid to take him out. You were just collateral? Collateral? My life reduced to a footnote in someone else's murder plot. I was never the target, just the witness they forgot to silence. The detective leaned in. Who hired you? I don't know his real name. We only talked through a burner phone. He called himself Marcus. Paid half up front, half after the job. Cash. Dropped a did Marcus sound like? Old young accent? The driver shook his head. Young, maybe 30s. No accent. He knew things, knew Daniel's schedule, knew the wedding route. Knew you'd be on that road at that exact time. My stomach lurched. Someone close to us had planned this. Someone who knew our life, our plans, our vulnerabilities. The investigation dragged on for weeks. The burner phone was a dead end, prepaid, bought at a gas station with cash. The dead drop location was a park bench in a town 2 hours away. No cameras, no witnesses. The driver couldn't describe Marcus because they'd never met face to face. Daniel's father Richard was a powerful man. Real estate connections, a temper that ran cold instead of hot. He hired private investigators. He called in favors. He told me, I will find the person who took my son, even if it takes the rest of my life. And then, one rainy Tuesday he did. I need everyone at the house, he said over the phone. Your parents, Chloe, my wife, the close family. I found the contractor. My hands were shaking as we gathered in his living room. The fire was lit, but no one felt warm. Chloe sat next to me, her knee bouncing. This is crazy, she muttered. Some psycho kills Daniel, and now we're all suspects. Richard stood by the mantel, a folder in his hand. The private investigator traced the payments. Not the original source, that's still hidden, but the person who hired the driver. The middleman. He opened the folder. The driver described Marcus as young, no accent, knew the wedding details. That narrowed it down to someone in our inner circle. Someone who was at the wedding. Someone who had access to the road. The room was so quiet I could hear the clock ticking. Richard looked up. Then we found the call records. A second burner phone, different from the one the driver used, that pinged in the wedding venue the night of the reception, and again near the crash site an hour before the accident. My mother gasped. Richard didn't answer immediately. Instead he walked slowly around the room, his eyes moving from face to face. Then he stopped. Right in front of Chloe. It was you, he said. Chloe blinked. No, that's insane. I was at the reception the whole night. Everyone saw me. You left for 45 minutes, Richard said calmly. You said you needed fresh air. But the ping shows your phone traveling toward the highway. Chloe laughed, a sharp, brittle sound. You're grasping at straws. I went for a walk. I was upset because my sister just got married and I'm still single. So what? The contractor described the person who hired him as a woman. Richard continued. He didn't say that before because he was afraid. But when my investigator applied pressure he broke. Marcus's was a woman using a voice changer. The room turned to Chloe. Her face was pale but her eyes were on fire. My father said, his voice cracking. Tell me this isn't true. She stood up slowly. Everyone flinched. You want the truth? She looked at me. Fine, yes, I hired him. My mother screamed. My father grabbed the mantel to steady himself. I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. I finally whispered. Chloe's smile was the scariest thing I've ever seen. Because it wasn't angry, it was relieved. Like she'd been holding this secret for so long. And finally letting it out felt like unclenching a fist. Why? She repeated. Because you took everything from me first. What are you talking about? I managed. Every birthday, every graduation, every award. It was always Emily this, and Emily that. You got the good grades without trying. You got the scholarships, you got the promotion. You got the perfect man, her voice cracked. And me? I was just Emily's sister, the one who wasn't as pretty, not as smart, not as lucky. That's not my fault, I said. Isn't it? She stepped closer. You never once stepped aside. Never once said, hey, maybe Chloe deserves something. You just kept winning. And I kept disappearing. Richard's voice was steel. So you decided to murder my son. I decided to make her feel what I feel every single day. Chloe spat. Empty. Alone. I didn't care if she died in the crash too. In fact, I hoped she would. But when I heard she survived, I thought, good. Now she gets to live with the pain. My mother was sobbing. My father looked like he'd aged 20 years. And I just sat there, staring at the person I'd grown up with, shared a bedroom with, told all my secrets to. How do you mourn someone who's still breathing? The police arrived 10 minutes later. Chloe didn't resist. She walked out with her head high, almost proud. As they led her past me, she paused. You'll never be happy again, she whispered, and that's justice. The trial was short. The evidence was overwhelming. Phone records, the driver's testimony. A half-written confession Chloe had hidden in her journal. She was sentenced to life without parole. Daniel is still gone. Richard still doesn't look at me without tears in his eyes. My parents are shattered. They lost a son-in-law and a daughter in the same month. And me? I visit Chloe once a year. Not because I forgive her. But because I need to remind myself that ill doesn't always wear a stranger's face. Sometimes it wears your sister's smile. Sometimes it hugs you at the funeral and whispers, I'm here for you. And the worst part, she meant it. She was there for me. She just also happened to be the one who destroyed me. The devil doesn't need a mask when she shares your bloodline. If this story taught me anything, it's this: the people closest to you are the ones who know exactly where to strike. So pay attention. Trust your gut. And if something feels wrong even on your wedding night, don't ignore it. Before you go to don't like button if you believe justice was served. And make sure to comment your country. I read every single one. This is Winds of Thought, reminding you that the truth doesn't always set you free. Sometimes it just locks the door behind you.